And welcome back to the locker room. It's time for us to sit down with the man with the master plan, the guru, here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, Coach Dan Pettaway. Coach, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Just rejoicing in another day and another season that he's given us.
No doubt about it. How about them JSU Tigers, sir?
Wow, they were awesome. They were awesome. They made their university and the SWAC very proud.
Very, very proud from start to finish. Total control of this game. There was no doubt about it. It threw out the myth about not having enough rest, and now it's being used for an excuse on the SWAC side of things that they had too much time off. So either way, it's going to always be some disgruntledness from either side.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I heard that argument too, that they were not as sharp, because of the long layoff, and that can happen sometimes. But I just think T.C. Taylor had his troops ready to play. I think one of the things that he harped on was that the MEAC always talked about that the SWAC was soft and they were not a physical league, and he put that in the atmosphere for his players. He told his offensive and defensive line that they had to go to war and that the game was going to be won on that side of the ball. And so they came out and they performed well. I mean, 14-0 at halftime. I think by halftime, because of their dominance, we knew Jackson State would win. We just didn't know what the final score would be. And
no
they just
doubt.
played an outstanding game.
And let's not count the two touchdowns that were negated due to penalties. It
Right.
could have easily been 28-0. And when you talk about T.C. Taylor, they go in there with war, but not only they go in there with war, but taking no prisoners, Coach.
Correct.
They laid the gauntlet. And I am appreciative of the media and their coverage of our conference, but please, you guys, let TC enjoy his moment. This had nothing to do with Deion Sanders.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. People are saying, well, it's because Deion struck it up. No. Let this man bask in his glory. Every player that was connected to JSU is further down the road. And on the flip side, JSU can't be claiming no part ownership of a Heisman Trophy because of Travis Hunter and his moment at Jackson State. Those are two separate and mighty achievements, but on total different playing fields.
Right. Now, the fact that it's T.C. Taylor's team, I think when Deion left, I think Coach Prime took the best players that Jackson State had. He took them with him to Colorado. All right. The others, they joined the portal. So T.C. Taylor had to completely revamp this team, and he did that. He signed one of the biggest classes out of the portal to get this team back to where it needed to be. So he should be given credit for everything that transpired with this team because this is his team. He built it in his own image and his own likeness, and he built it the way he wanted to build. So he should get the credit for that. Now, the fact that Jackson State is saying that they want a piece of the Heisman, now that part, Travis Hunter actually enrolled and played at Jackson State. He got his start there. So them claiming part of his success, I think that might be. I think they may have a case there now because he did get his start at Jackson State. So they can relish in the fact that they were there for his beginning. Yes, certainly after transferring to Colorado, he upped the stakes. But I just think it was just a proud moment, and a lot of the news media are actually giving Jackson State credit for his start. I don't think they can claim what he did after he left there, but he did start at JSU, and that would be probably the first time that we've had a Heisman Trophy winner associated with a HBCU. So I think that might be the angle that they're taking on that. And that's something to be proud of, because they can say, for the people that saw him at Jackson State, I got a chance to see a future Heisman Trophy winner.
And I understand all of that, but in the same breath, just as we're acknowledging T.C. Taylor, well, I guess you might as well go on and give credit to Deion then for this championship from Jackson State.
No, Flint, I think it's totally different, because you got a coach who was there for both. He was there with Deion, was there also, but this roster has turned over. The roster had turned over, so this is certainly T.C. Taylor's team. But in terms of that Heisman, all they're saying is, we gave this guy his start, and he did get his start at Jackson State.
I get that, and it was even brought up to the fact that maybe they ought to consider retiring his number. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. If you can't retire Walter Payton's number, how on God's green earth does this justify even having that in the conversation to roll off your lips about retiring his number?
Well, now, you know what? In life, they say we still learn. Now, are you telling me Walter Payton's number is not retired at Jackson State?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
Wow. That's a no-brainer. I did not know that. You learn something every day. I did not know that. Right. You're absolutely correct. If his number is not retired, if Walter Payton's number is not retired, there's no way you can do that for Travis Hunter.
Yes, sir.
And to me, Travis Hunter wasn't there long enough. Walter Payton, he paved his way. He did his thing at Jackson State for a number of years. He wasn't a one-hit wonder and gone.
Right.
So I agree with you on that. That's a no.
Okay. Well, either way, it's still a proud moment for JSU, SWAC, and HBCUs abroad. When you look into this thing, when the dust has settled, we still got these gaps in that other heel, in this perfected heel, and Mississippi Valley, and all over some other MEAC, schools, HBCUs, let's just put it like that, because you got coaching vacancies all over the gamut right now. Any news, Coach, of what's happening over there in that other heel section?
No, it's the rumor mill is still running rapid, and they're trying to say that our AD has already talked with the losing coach in the Celebration Bowl and all of this and the third and the other. I'm not sure what's going on. All I know is the AD has promised us that by the first of the year he'll have him a coach in place, and I think it's going to be a very critical moment for our football program, because you are a numbers guy, and when you look at the numbers in terms of how much Alabama A&M spends on their football program, we're certainly in the top 4, and we were in the top 4 when Betty Austin was the athletic director. And now you can see from the outside that we're spending more money, so it's safe for me to say that that budget has increased tremendously, because a football coach coming to Alabama A&M will know that it seems as if money is not an issue when it comes to the actual program, because I don't know of another school in the SWAC. We probably charter maybe 4 flights a year. I know when we go to Southern, there's a flight. Of course, when you go to the 2 Texas schools, you gotta charter. Then when you go to the Florida schools, we're chartering. And what got me was when I found out that we were chartering to Arkansas Pine Bluff. So money does not seem to be an issue for football. So I think Alabama A&M is a destination place for the right coach. They do have our university has committed to the NIL. Our athletes are currently receiving NIL. That will increase, according to our president and our athletic director, when our alumni step up to the plate and add more money to the kitty. And then also, I think there's a collective that the alumni has put together. So in terms of resources for the football program, I think it's out there. We just got to come up with the right guy.
Well, Coach, you kind of glazed over it. I want to get reversed for a moment now. You know, I pay attention, Coach. I might not have a lot of money, but I'm paying attention to what I do have, right? Mm-hmm. Are you telling me that there was some potential conversation with Coach Berry?
Yeah, well, that's what the rumor mill is now. Now, I'm not confirming that. Yes, that's what's out there.
You know, we can get buck wild with some of these fantasies, right? Because the man just came off his first year at South Carolina State. What's going to make him jump ship that quick?
Well, they say that the relationship with the athletic director is not the best. That's what's out there.
Okay. Well, there are two words that to me would negate all that: a buyout.
Yep.
You know, I can't. You know, it's you know, like they're saying, to come to Prairie View, all kind of names have been floating about, and you know, and all I'm saying at Prairie View, all I want for Christmas is a new head coach.
Yeah.
You know, it's been too long and drawn out already, in my opinion. You know, and I know we got larger programs. They didn't already got replacements in and out, and they got more money, which means we should be working faster because you ain't got much. It's only a short list that's going to be willing to come with you anyway. Let's go on and wrap this pony up, man.
Right, I agree because what you got to do, you have to give that new coach an opportunity to recruit, and you got the second signing period coming up in February. I think it's the first week of February. So, right, time is of the essence, and a lot of times on our level, we're not seeing that, and we wait, we extend the process, and then ultimately what happens is you have to give him a mulligan for that first season because he's not there in time to put together a recruiting class, because once that coach is hired, then he has to bring in the staff. That staff has to get acclimated. Then they got to hit the road running to try to bring in athletes. So I agree with you on that. I think in both of our cases we need to pull the trigger so that we can go ahead and get our football programs back up to where we expect them. Now, one of the things that I found out this morning, that not only is Michael Vick a candidate for Norfolk State, now they're saying he's in talks with Sacramento State as their head football coach. And that's another celebrity hire, and that will be, if it's pulled off by either Norfolk or Sacramento State, that's another celebrity hire of a guy who has not been in the coaching ranks so far.
Right, and the intriguing thing about the Sacramento State move or potential move is that collectively they've gotten major commitments from the Sacramento Kings for the basketball, men and women's basketball, to use their facility. They got a deal on the table for a new 25,000-seat stadium. They are actually trying to gear up to become FBS eligible.
Right.
And with that, if Vic were to lean in that direction, he would definitely have a brighter future, at least financially, if he could last that long. And the inside lane is that he is from the Virginia area. Norfolk would be right around the corner in the neighborhood.
Right. And then the other thing in Sacramento, which I was shocked, was the amount of the NIL that they put together.
Yes.
You know, they put together an awesome package. And you know, we can forget about talking about amateur athletics. That ship has sailed.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. It's who can come up with the most money, who can, and my thing is who's going to be able to sustain it. You know, some of these schools are coming up with this money right now, but what does that look like in the future? You know, and I think that's the take that a lot of us are going to have to look, especially on the HBCU level.
Well, and I call it the three-card Monty approach, right? It's a sounding good, looking good, but as you say, sustainability is what's really at hand. When we look at, I was talking with someone just the other day. They were talking about the NIL. I said all the NIL really is, instead of giving the money underneath the table. There was so much money underneath the table that it had to come out on top of the table. And those who are, quote unquote, just being introduced to this new breath of fresh air, it's not new at all. You know, now they're just legally doing what they've been illegally doing for years.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct because, you know, being in the coaching profession as long as I was, you know, I saw it firsthand, you know, before the NILs were legal. NILs have been going on since the beginning of time.
No doubt about it. Now, there is a particular coach and a situation that I personally would love to see them for a couple of reasons, and that's Coach Eric Dooley landing at Mississippi Valley. Now, I don't have any inside knowledge of this, but from what I've observed about Coach Dooley as an assistant, as a head coach, his offensive creative mind, even though some say that it could be weighing at times, then I know he has a strong recruiting capability. I would love to see him in a situation, giving him, I personally, like I said, I have no insight. I'd have to give him or whoever that next coach would be a minimum of 5 years to try to work some magic.
Well, yeah, at this point, Coach Dooley might want to consider that because he needs to rebrand or rebuild himself, I think. Because, you know, he came into this thing, everybody knew him as this great offensive guru. Well, the last 2.5 stops, you know, that it doesn't look too good. Mm-hmm. And so this might be an opportunity for him to rebrand, and he should look at something like that.
Yes, sir. Now, your old coach, Coach Maynard, what, I know you were probably like I was, a little kind of, you know, scratching your head, okay, we're moving off of this guy, who you going to have come in? Where do you see his future going?
Well, if in this recruiting cycle, in this coaching cycle, I think if he does not land a head coaching job, he'll be somebody's offensive coordinator because now his thing has been offense, and he had the number one offense in the SWAC. He is just on the defensive side of the ball is where I think we came up a little short. So I think there will be somebody will have him on their staff.
And another name that's like a scud missile to me is Fred McNair.
Fred McNair, and also Dawson Oldhams. You know,
yes,
you got two seasoned coaches out there, and I think you're hearing their names and some of these openings that we have right now. You're recycling the same coaches, and you're hearing these names in a lot of the same places. So they're if you're looking for a recycled coach, there's some good ones out there. I think some of these ADs right now, they're looking at trying to start with an up-and-coming person.
And I'm sorry for we say recycle, retreads, but isn't that almost kind of condescending on your own brand and people when we use those terms?
Well, yes, it is, because you know the other people have been doing that for years. You know, that's how they keep themselves relevant, by recycling guys on the HBCU level. A lot of times when a coach leaves, you don't hear from them again, especially in basketball and some of the football coaches. When they get a certain age, now isn't it ironic how if you hit 50 on the HBCU level, you're old, but I think we just had a guy 74 to get a
Mr. Belichick, are you referring
to? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about that a little later on.
Okay.
That's. I think that's all. Like I said, I'll get to that in a moment. You just remind me if I have to forget to talk about that. When we look at, I'm going to use my beloved university. I do not think, personally, that we are in a situation to where we need a newbie to come and cut his teeth. That's been our problem for years. We always get the first-time guy around. They grow and learn their bumps and bruises at our expense, then they move on down the road. I think you got to have a person that's coming in here who's been proven to establish themselves as a head coach on this level, and I say this level, D1, or at least strong coordinator levels of attachment on this D1 level. The reason I'm saying that is because there are so many unseen duties that are required in this position on our level. For a new guy who's thinking he's going to come in here and just strictly coach, that's not a reality.
Right. It's a rude awakening for him. Right. That's true. That's true. On our level, you have to wear more than one hat, and that's because of the financial constraints we're under. But at Alabama A&M, I think the commitment from our president and our athletic director, they have shown all of our alumni that they want a successful athletic program, and they have shown that by putting the money where it needs to go. Now, in terms of football, they're upgrading facilities right now, and like I said earlier, our budget is in the top 4 in the SWAC. So the resources are there. We just got to make sure that the person that we bring in here can get the job done. And I think that's what the alumni is looking for. That's what I'm looking for. And I just look forward to the process coming to an end, so that person can hit the ground running to build on what has already been established here at Alabama A&M.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, regardless who comes in and wherever your budget is, we can all help ourselves, regardless of where you're located. If you're on that other hill or that perfected hill, that you gotta attend your game.
Oh yes.
Because when you attend your games, the money that you're spending, whether it's on parking, seats, concessions, whatever the case may be, just look at it as you're contributing toward NIL achievement. Because when you come to these games, purchase these tickets, come to these games, and cheer when you're at the games, it can help create that quote-unquote word culture, change the atmosphere, and bring some attention, i.e. of financial support through potential partners. Right.
We as fans and alumni, we've got to do a better job with our institutions. When I say better job, I'm talking about supporting them financially. We like to talk a big game, but we don't back it up with our finances. And right. I think that's one of the things that's been missing at all of our HBCUs, and it's time to change that. One of the things that I know I like at Alabama A&M, Dr. Paul Bryant, our athletic director, he has shown the alumni that he's willing to roll up his sleeves and go to work. And I think one of the biggest things that I have seen that I like is that he has brought in the younger generations is buying into the things that he's doing. And I think that's very important, because the younger people are the future. And as we as older alumni, as we become older, we're not as active as some of these young kids are. And that's one of the things that I have seen since he's been there. And I just hope he continues that, because he definitely has their support. I think everything is up since Dr. Bryan has been there, and with some of the things that he has implemented, he's made the game day experience a lot better in both football and basketball. So I look forward to the future at Alabama A&M.
Well, could you elaborate on how and what you've noticed as that game day experience improvement?
Well, number one, the first thing that you notice is there are a lot more vendors. There are a lot more things for the fans to do besides walk into the stadium. There are a number of events, the theme nights for every home football and basketball game, and in football, you don't just have to show up for the game. You get there early because there are a lot of things, family-oriented things that are set up for your entertainment. From bounce houses, they got all kind of things. They got different food trucks that are conveniently located outside the stadium. You don't have to wait until you get inside the stadium for food. They've had stages set up for bands and entertainment on the outside leading into the stadium. So there are things, and then during the game, the festive atmosphere that's created by his marketing people. They got things going on from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. And I think that has enhanced the game day experience for people attending the games. And then at every game, they got all kind of giveaways that they're doing for our fans. So this has made a big difference in the people who do attend the game. Now, overall attendance, yeah, we can do better. We got to do better. But some of that, to me, has to do with also scheduling. Like, for some reason, the SWAC always jumps on these Thursday night games. That's a killer, man. That's not viable. I have not seen a Thursday night in the SWAC at any institution that draws half of their crowd. I think Thursday is a bad night for HBCU football because it's during the week. It's during the work week. So these are some things that I think we have to look at as a conference to see if we can change.
Well, that Thursday night commitment is being dictated by ESPN. And if you're going to, nibble at that carrot they're dangling in front of us, that's part of the package. You're going to have to play on Thursday night, sometimes a Friday night, and at the time they designate to fit their slots.
Wow, and that's not beneficial for us and our fans.
Right. But nonetheless, we have what we have, and hopefully things will adjust for the greater than for the less than. With that, as we almost through it, Coach, we've gotten close in that basketball, but not quite over the hump. We got about another week and a half left for fundraising, sir.
Yep, we do, and then the real nitty gritty starts first week of January for all of our programs, and we'll get a first-hand look at the new concept with our ladies playing along on Thursdays and our men playing along on Mondays. So I'm looking forward to that. Some of our teams have come close. We don't have all those signature wins like we had last year, but we've had a few surprises, and we've had some close games out there on both the men and the women's side. So I'm looking forward to the basketball season.
Yes, sir. You and I both, sir. As before you know it, they'll be like, what football season? Because it's basically over with. Because I got a few, big boy bowl games I'm going to watch. But as far as I'm concerned, we're in the parking in the garage right about now, until we get some more updates on these coaches vacancies that are open throughout the conference. I want to go. We talked about him briefly. The young man Travis Hunter. I was impacted by his speech, sir. I listened to it twice. I listened to it in real time. I listened to it immediately after that, and it was very impactful for me as a father. I don't know the full situation of the young man, but it was obvious that mama and father were at some point separated. I don't know what all the deal was. And yes, he acknowledged all of his coaches and uncles and cousins, siblings. But when he got to his father, it was a breakdown. In a good way, nothing bad, but in a breakdown where you could feel the bond that they have, regardless of whatever the circumstances were. And you can tell that there's some form of communication there. And for him to take that time and isolate, because we know mamas, hey, going to take my mama, my grandmama, and all that, and all my coaches that brought him to cleats. But something went all through me, I guess as a parent, of, how we try to do and be what we can for our kids. And he said something that was real, at least valuable to me, or let's say of great importance, when his grandmother made him go out there at 4 years old to play football. And all I thought about was, one of them old school grannies, no, you ain't hang around us women. You get out there and play with them boys and help him, get on that path. And it was a very inspirational speech from my point of view.
Right. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the things that I took away from that. If you notice, out of all 4 of the Heisman candidates, 3 of them, they interviewed their parents on in a different setting. They did not do that for him. Number one, his father was not there, and he gave it away. They tried to keep his mother off of camera. Holly Rowe is the one that went to his mother and had her on camera. And did you hear his comments? Well, but now y'all see, we was trying to keep her away from that, but she said it. She got it out. So I took that as there was a concerted effort not to let Mama speak. I think Holly Rowe broke that down by going over to Mother. All the other parents, they sat on stage and talked about their son. But Dion and Shadur sat on stage to talk about Travis. So that's one of the things that I picked up from that. And you're absolutely right. Something had happened between Mom and Dad, and he wanted the world to know that he still loved his dad. Mom has always been there for him, but he still had love for his father.
Yes.
But I thought that was quite interesting. I picked it up right away when they did not, when she was not on stage to talk about her son.
Yeah. Whatever the complicated situation is, we have what we have. A young man with a promising future.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to where he'll end up and how they'll handle him in his professional career. And with that, Coach, I think we've reached our limit for today.
Okay.
I do want to give you some closing thoughts and comments, sir.
Well, the locker room has been a blessing. I've enjoyed being on the locker room, and I want to encourage you as we come to the close of another year to continue to stay encouraged, and then I want to thank you for accepting your assignment, number one, and then also I want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, because this is really needed, especially in our day and time. We really need this.
Well, sir, we're going to keep on keeping on, and for those who are tracking with us on a regular basis, we're going to be debuting our newsletter, monthly newsletter, starting in January 2025. Lord say the same. Some more insights on some specific things that trickle down and affect us as a conference, as a society of HBCU supporters, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're just looking to try and reach out as much as we can. Check us out on the Twitter X feed at the Mike Prince Show, our YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, and the website at obnradio.com. Coach, I thank you so much, sir. And we might be able to get one in before Christmas. If not, happy holiday. I think we are. Yeah, we'll have one in before Christmas, Coach. So we'll do the holiday year, a little eggnog session. We'll have an eggnog section.
There you go.
But I do thank you so much for being a part. Thank those who have joined in with us. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. It's time to exit stage left for right now. So you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.